In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the NAWCQ, the EUWCQ, and seeing if we are in a tier 0 format. And as always, guys, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you guys stay updated every single time I upload, guys. Follow all my socials, and without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so starting off with the video, I got a little boring part here. Basically, I asked ChatGPT, what is a tier 0 format, right? So technically speaking, in gaming, particularly in competitive card games, we are Yu-Gi-Oh, and some other competitive gaming contexts, tier 0 refers to a category of decks or strategies that are so dominant that they overshadow all other options. Remember that says strategies that are so dominant it's over all other options. More on this later. When a deck or strategy is classified as tier 0, it means unmatched dominance, metagame centralization, lack of viable alternatives, and game balance concerns. In card games like Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic, who even cares about Magic, tier 0, whatever, right? Fuck, get this bullshit out of here. Okay, basically, it says the deck or strategy that has an overwhelming win rate and is significantly stronger than any other available options. The presence of a tier 0 deck often leads to a heavily centralized metagame where most players either use tier 0 deck or build their deck specifically to counter it. Remember, it's not about representation. Other competitive decks or strategies struggle to perform well, of course. That just means that that's like a byproduct of the deck being so well that representation changes, and then game balance concerns that people cry, right? Okay, so this is through Nesh. Nesh posted this on his thing. I think the Konami blog saw, but I'd rather support other content creators, so this is Nesh. So you guys can see here, right? This is the entire event breakdown of the NAWCQ, and basically, Fiendsmith Snake Eye 25%, 10 by 15, U-Bell 10%, Despia Brand, all the other crap, and then other 30%. So, from a glance, you're like, okay, we are not in a tier 0 format because this should be more represented, right? But now when we look into the NAWCQ top 64, we can see that the jump goes from 25% representation to almost 50%, so like 48%, whatever, right? So that's 31% Snake Eyes, right? Then we have 13 Tenpai, and then we have 9 U-Bell. So, and again, both of these decks use Fiendsmith, so technically it's 40 Fiendsmith, then top 64. They have the 1 Memento, whatever, right? But one thing to note as well is like, then when we get into the top 32, we have 16 Fiendsmith. So now in top 32, it is 50% Snake Eye Fiendsmith, which is crazy. And then from here we have the top 16, which is also pretty nasty in this regard, right? And then again, the top 4, it was Fiendsmith Snake Eye, Fiendsmith Snake Eye, Fiendsmith Snake Eye, so 3 out of 4. Then the finals was the mirror match, right? So you guys can kind of understand kind of what I'm saying. And again, there is that notion currently where all of these decks need to have like, what is it, like 12, 15, 20, whatever X amount of hand traps plus side even more. So that kind of adds to what I was saying, where it's an unmatched dominance where the deck or strategy has an overwhelming win rate and significantly stronger. Like you guys can see here, right? 25% goes to 31, so 40% goes to 50%, goes to freaking 50%, and then from here it's a freaking 75%, and then it's 100% in the finals, right? So again, overwhelming dominance, and then also has a centralization. The presence of a tier 0 deck often leads to heavily centralized metagames, so people either use the tier 0 deck or build their deck specifically to counter it. So think about this, right? So Fiendsmith Snake Eye is by far the best deck in the format, everyone knows it, right? So how do you beat it? Tenpai can play insane amounts of non-engine, go second, and break boards. U-Bell is very similar, where they can play like 18, 20 hand traps. Then you have Runic Stun, which is like, again, nobody likes when stun decks are meta, but unfortunately, because people are attacking so much for Snake Eye, Runic Stun goes up. Ritual Beast, another deck, Game Puppet, FTK, things of that nature. So that's it for kind of like what I was saying, where in regards to kind of what I had like laid out, other competitive decks or strategies struggle. So you guys can see here, like, yes, of course there's 30% other that come in, but you guys can see here there's no other in the top 64 or top 32 or 16. And bro, this is all just meta, right? So like I was saying before, NAWCQ was like a little precursor, like I said, for, and a lot of people were kind of on it like, oh, we're not in a tier 0 format because bro, like, look at the representation. But it doesn't matter, because once we get to the top tables, this shit is almost 50%, bro. So I don't know what you're saying. But moving on, onto the EUWCQ now. So this was the first day, like I said before, 24% Fiendsmith Snake Eye, 10% Tenpai, 9% U-Bell, 6% Runic, and things of that nature. So compared to this, where it was 25, so it's 24. Tenpai went a little bit down, Fiendsmith U-Bell kind of went down as well, but then Runic went up, and Ritual Beast and things of that nature. But moving on to the top 64 breakdown. So top 64 became 49% Snake Eye, so that's the exact same thing that we were just looking at here. 49% Snake Eye compared to whatever it was, like the 48. Then you have Tenpai, U-Bell, Ritual Beast, Runic, and Memento, and then continue, right? So again, like I said before, your initial entry, the first couple rounds, it's always like the same, like, oh yeah, you're probably not gonna be playing against meta, or probably not gonna be playing against like random crap, whatever. So once you weed it out, you're only playing against Tenpai or Fiendsmith Snake Eye, right? And then moving on again onto the top 32 of the NAWCQ, that was like I said, for for 16 Snake Eye, and then we also have 50 here. And then this is just MCO40's video. I couldn't really find it anywhere else, but here you guys can see there's the top 64 of the EUWCQ, which is 31% Snake Eye. And then from here, you guys can see that in the top 16, it is 10 Snake Eye. So I get it, like EUWCQ, there's a bunch of random crap, like Rika always does good there. Thankfully, Rika didn't win, but so that's it for the top 16. And then here, moving on, there is the top 8 as well, where again, it's 50% Snake Eye, Ritual Beast, Yubel, shout out to Ritual Beast. And then moving on here, you guys can see the top 4 was just Ritual Beast and whatever. And then I'm sure you guys know that the final was going to be Ritual Beast versus Tenpai, I believe, and that's where it was, right? And you guys can see here, like, so I'm just gonna quickly go through the video. Like, they're playing a bunch of non-engine all their lists because that's the way that the format is now. You guys see 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 non-engine in their deck, just so they can see something to stop Snake Eye, right? And this deck is just absolutely so crazy, like, in what it can do. And again, of course, this deck can play D-Shifter, Dark Ruler, whatever. So you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about, where yes, like, Tier 0 isn't necessarily off representation. It's, again, like I said, for the deck or strategy has an overwhelming win rate and is significantly stronger, which that's Snake Eye. Everyone knows it. Like, you can say Yubel is the second best deck, but literally the jump is just too massive, right? The presence of a Tier 0 deck leads to heavily centralized metagame where players either use the Tier 0 deck or build their decks. As I stated before, people are playing all sorts of crap hand traps in their deck, and then they're siding even more, especially the Snake Eye mirror match. Other competitive decks or strategies struggle, and that's true because other hand traps, just like other rogue decks, just like died, or like a random hand trap. Like, people are main decking Bestials. There goes Drytron, I know Cope, there goes Tyr, there goes Branded, there goes a bunch of other decks that kind of get hit by that. Multiple hand traps as well, Ash Blossom, Veiler, Imper, Mourner, like all this random stuff is coming out of the woodwork, specifically to stop Snake Eye. And then again, the existence of Tier 0 deck indicates a balance issue within the game where one deck or strategy, again, we didn't really have a Tier 0 after Spiral. I think Spiral was like 2017, and then we had Tyr, which was like more recently, of course. Then we had Snake Eye. The thing was with Tyr's mirror matches were a little bit more interactive, right? Because like you're milling your opponent's deck, they're milling yours, you're getting a bunch of crap, things of that nature. Whereas the Snake Eye one is just crazy. You're just playing hand trap roulette, you're just rolling the dice, and you're just praying for it. So I think people have been calling for a ban list very soon, and ideally we do get one. I mean, they did say that we will be getting a ban list mid to late August. I think that info is a really good set in what it provides, but we just need Snake Eye gone, and then everything else will be able to flourish and thrive. But again, let me know what you guys think about this video. If you guys thought it was good, insightful, am I the best ever? Like, let me know, guys. But my name's Hamza, like I always say, guys, keep on shining, never end your dreams. Peace.